There we go. Right, there is no intro. There is no intro whatsoever today. Everything's broke on me. Rachel was going to come on, so it delayed things further, and I haven't set anything up, so that's just absolutely wonderful, is it not? Hopefully this is working. If you can see me, let me know, and then I can just crack on with the show, because I'm very underprepared. You can see a big flappy lady right there. Alright, I think everything's sorted on this side. Everything seems to be green. There we go. Hey, there must be quite a big delay. And now Stewie's literally piped up. We can't have a live show without Stewie piping up. Right, let's go through who's in the chat. Can you hear me? Everyone can see me? Can you hear me? Crack on, see and hear you. There you are, awesome. Right, so you're going to have to deal with Stewie. I apologise. He's a rabbit. That's what he does. We have Marty Milligan, who I believe was the earliest one today. Big Rich, Ralph Hummel. My screen's all the way up there, so I'm kind of looking off into the distance, gazing lovingly at my monitor over there, which has started to get pixel death, or whatever it's called, where little pixels on the screen die. So that's fun. The Orc Boys. Welcome, Orc Boys. Black Hawk Tabletop Gaming. Derpimus Maximus. Patrick Metzger. I haven't replied to Patrick, actually. I need to reply. I'll reply on here. That's cool. Thank you for bringing another t-shirt. And I look forward to seeing you in a WGO hoodie very soon. It's time to start brainstorming better names than Celestant Feminine. How about Celestant Feminine? Nice one, Derpimus. I think that's already winning. Maybe Sam forgot it's Saturday. I didn't forget. I have been sitting. You know what? What I've been doing this evening is, rather than setting up to do any sort of sculpting, which is my plan, it's really dark on here as well. I don't know why it's... Oh, I know why it's going to be. Might be darker. I apologise. It's going to shake. Because I think I had the exposure down. Oh, look at that. Alright, it's going to shake for a little bit, but there you go. I have been doing Shadespire, so I got the 2 expansions for Shadespire, which is the Undead team and the Greenskins team, as well as the starter set, which has the Khorne Bloodbound dudes and the Stormcast. So I've got all of that, and I spent the evening trying to figure out what I should do in terms of sleeves and what they go into and stuff. So I've got this Magic the Gathering folder, and I've repurposed it for Warhammer. So now all of the cards which I've got are inside here. So I've spent the whole evening just going through and filing them, basically, so I can have a proper look through and understand what the cards do. I got sleeves for all of them as well, and then realised that the game is split up into 2 different decks. So you have an objective deck and you have a power deck. And I didn't think about this, so I put the majority of the cards into different coloured sleeves. So then I had to go back and change them into just white and black sleeves. So that's what I've been doing tonight. I was just getting to the stage where I was going to put all these tokens into little bags and put them away. But then I needed to go live. So I was just chucking everything that was on the desk out the way, grabbed this green cutting mat and this model, and then realised I should be working on it very shortly. And that is why I'm late. Let's keep going through the chat. Who is here? Any questions as well? If you've got any questions, do the @WargamerOnline, or one word, and then space, and then whatever question you've got or whatever you want to say, and then it will highlight up on my screen a little bit easier. So any questions, do that. If there are any questions, there might have been nothing today. Who else? I realised. There we go, yeah. Furious George, Fell Hate, see I got properly distracted. Marty again. So Frankie Lee Bailey. Ryan Benfield signed up for premium this week. Thank you very much, Ryan. You'll be entered into the draw then for the premium members to win £100 worth of models. I think Phil has changed it now. He was going to do £50 starter set and a £50 worth of whatever models. And it just made more sense to just say, if you win, you get £100 worth of Games Workshop models, other than the web exclusive stuff. So that's the small print of that. But £100 worth of stuff is definitely awesome. Mini, welcome Mini. And you've been working on some good stuff on the Facebook page. If you're not already on the Facebook page, it's a Wargamer Online Space Community. You can join that and see everybody's work. We might have a look later. I might bring it up if I can work out the stuff on here. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I'll sort that out later maybe. 20-second-ish delay between comments coming in and showing on the live chat. Yeah, okay, that's normal then. Carl M, nice conversion. Thank you, Carl. I'll go through what I've done with this in a moment, and we might have some sort of topic. How about Celestant Valkyrie? I like that. I really like that. Celestant Lass. I like that as well, Ralph. Slippy Tiger, cooking dinner, then hobby. Got sand to glue and sprues to paint, house to myself. That's good. I've got tomorrow to myself. Rachel's going out with her family, but I'm going to be cracking on with... I've got a premium tutorial which I need to finish editing, so I've got to do the voiceover and some more bits like graphics and things, and that will go up on the premium part of the website. Hopefully tomorrow. And I think Phil's got 2 battle reports ready to be edited to go up as well, but he's just got to get around to them. So hopefully they'll be up soon as well. And I think they'll be on premium as well. I think we're going to have less YouTube content for a little bit just to get some more premium stuff back up there. I have got 2 videos for the unboxings for the Shadespire stuff as well. I might chuck them up. They're only small ones. Ralph, too much Outlander binge watching last night. I haven't watched Outlander yet. Great conversion from, how do you pronounce that? I don't even want to attempt it, but I feel like I should. Yikesen, Alejandro Zenmuron. Butchered it. And you were so nice as well, I butchered your name. Carl, I've been playing Stormcast for a couple of months, so I'm happy to see you take them on. I've been doing a lot of Stormcast list building. I could even do some of that today and show you what lists I've got planned, because I can just put it on under the camera and you might even be able to see it through there. Furious George has Phil sorted the image hosting for the forum yet? Nope. So I'm just leaving him to it. We'll see when it gets done, hopefully soon, but I know he's busy. How do you get a green slime effect on your minis where it looks see-through but with a green tinge and dries rock hard? Check the poisoned weapon tutorial, James. If that's what you talk, that might work, because there's different ways you can do it. You can buy... one second, I'm going to take this headphone. I don't want to take the headphones off because I can't hear if somebody subscribes, but I'm going to do it. Get ready. Oh, where are they? I don't even know where they are. Okay, there is some micro beads. I've got them somewhere. They're tiny little like beads that are see-through, and you can glue them together to get little beads to make them look like splashes of water or gore or nurgly sort of stuff. They work really well. Or you've got the Yoo-hoo glue, which I did the poison weapon tutorial with, and that's great because you can just basically string it onto a weapon, move it around with a cocktail stick, and then when it dries, you go over it with super glue, because it's still clear, but it makes it solid. And you can play around with Yoo-hoo glue. The other one, which is brilliant, is the hot glue. Just using a normal hot glue gun and pasting that wherever you want it to go, because that stuff's great. But that doesn't go as clear as Yoo-hoo glue does. It's a little bit cloudy when that dries. So hopefully that helps. But with the green tinge side of things, the poison weapon, I did the same thing. So that was using Yoo-hoo glue, super glue, and then tinting it with a glaze afterwards. So you just thin your green paint down really thin, or use the green glaze from Games Workshop and just paint as many layers over the top with that as you need. Right, Yoo-hoo glue. Yoo-hoo! What else? Coleman's here. Welcome, Coleman. Coleman had some good information, actually. I don't think I didn't talk about it on a stream yet, but that's because I haven't done the bolt action bits yet. But he was saying about the Tiger 2. Was it the Tiger 2? Yeah, the Tiger 2 was basically called... I've lost it now. It was a Bengal tiger. That's what I got from. That's what the name of the the king tiger should have been. It's the Bengal tiger. That's what it was translated into. So I remembered that part, Coleman. I just didn't remember the rest. But there you go. Infamous laser cut MDF and Necromunda stuff arrived this week. Enough for two 4-tier towers. A bunch of shorter ones. Walkways and barriers. Phil and Jack are doing a lot of Necromunda. I don't necessarily have the time for it yet because I'm properly trying to get back into Age of Sigmar again. So Age of Sigmar is where my priorities lie. I'm still doing the Black Dragons and I've got the Bolt Action and I've got Shadespire. So I really don't have time to do Necromunda as well. I may end up doing like one gang, but I won't be reading the rules and learning any of it because I'll leave that to Phil and Jack to just tell me what happens basically. I've fallen in love. This Stormcast model wasn't even supposed to be done right now. I was cracking on with doing the Fire Slayers first, and I started building this, and I've fallen in love with the conversion. And there's a lot of work to be done on it, but I'm really pleased with how it looks. I actually like it more than the normal Prime, Celestant Prime model. I've tried to base it on a butterfly because I wanted it to be a female Stormcast model for a start, and I wanted more. I'm not going to say female-looking wings, but butterflies and bright-looking colours and things kind of go well. So these are two separate wings that I've chopped up and stuck together. There's gaps in between the wings there, which I need to link with green stuff, just to get that metallic border around the wing there. And there's some gaps that need filling all over anyway, like in between the leg there. This was made out of Naive Black Talon, I want to say her name is, whichever the female model is, out of the Blight War set. And she's running sideways. So what I had to do is chop both of her legs off. I've changed the foot so that it's like pointing down. I need to fill the gap and blend that in a little bit more. The axe end of this has been chopped off, and I've replaced it with a mace because she's supposed to be carrying the Galmaraz mace hammer. So I've got to do a tiny bit of green stuffing on there to make it look a little bit more ornate. And like this was on her shoulder as well. So that's now been changed just to have a bit of fur. Torso was completely chopped up, so that's been chopped up so that I can twist it sideways on. And I chopped the axe that was out of her other hand. So it's really quite a big conversion, a lot of posing and stuff on there. The cape has been taken from the Saint Celestine as well. So that's been chucked on there. And that's pretty much it, bits-wise. And in terms of bits, it's that one model from Blight War, the head from the Stormcast Shadespire set, from the female model from there, and a hammer from a normal Stormcast dude, and then these off something else. So happy with it. I'm going to do a big base with loads of rocks flying around all over it. I'm going to copy Phil's technique for using the hot glue to do like a spirit effect. I think that's going to work best for it. And hopefully that will be the first model for my Stormcast army. We'll see how it finishes. I've just been like properly droning on about that. I apologise. But, oh yeah, that was in answer to why I'm not doing Necromunda, even though it wasn't a question. Ian Stanford is watching The Punisher, not started that yet. So, Derpmus, you could try the Mighty Jingles approach to names you can't pronounce. They can call them all Dave. When is the next AOS bat rep? That is whenever Phil gets that edited. It's I believe it's Sylvaneth versus Death again. So it's another one of those. I'm trying to get the Stormcast or the Fire Slayers done so I can film some more games that isn't just Iron Jaws over and over again. But I'll do what I can. Devon Hoff Felix, welcome. What boys, enjoyed your last unboxing game review. Sorry that I confused you with the washing comment. No problem at all. I confused myself, to be fair. I mean, at the end, I did the video, I uploaded it, and then completely wiped all knowledge of what was in the video. So I read the comments and I'm like, what was that in relation to? Ah, yes. It's a good game. For anyone who hasn't seen it, the Wild West Exodus video that went up yesterday, it's a really good bargain of a price for the box. It's a quality box as well. And there's loads of nice miniatures in their range. There's 10 different factions at the moment with quite a lot of different themed characters inside them, which are worth looking at. Mind Sam Yuhu. Dankashon? Does that mean thank you? I think that means maybe thank you. I don't know. Paulos01, welcome. Nearly forgot to listen to Massive Attack and Painting War Machine. Never painted War Machine. I see a lot of models that are really, really nice, but I've never got into it. That's it. Is it Königstiger? Königstiger in English is Bengal Tiger, not King Tiger. There we go. And Ian's going to the Grand Tournament next year. That's awesome. No problem, James. Patrick back in. Gewson minutes. Don't know how many that is. Train will run now through the wilderness with no internet. James, yes, she will be a Celestant Prime. She's quite big, actually. I've reposed the Shadespire model that I took the head from, and I've got to fill in the gaps for the neck and stuff. But next to a normal Prime, a normal Stormcast, you can see she's already quite imposing because she's kind of stretched out a little bit anyway. But then when you put the wings with her, she's just absolutely humongous. And then she's going to be up on this. This wire goes all the way through the cork, so she's going to be pretty much off the floor, probably the height of that cork, and then have the swirls going around her, so she'll look quite big on the tabletop. What else have we got? Furious George. What gaming and non-gaming, I suppose, things are on your Santa list this year? I don't know, to be honest. Probably not a lot. There's some stuff that I need for the channel more than anything, and then there's stuff that I want for myself. You know what I mean? So there's different things. So I need to. The Mac's on its way out, so I need to upgrade that. Phil's got a MacBook Pro, I think it is, and Jack's got one as well, and they keep raving on how good they are, but they're almost like £2,000, so they're way out. But I need to replace the Mac so that I can continue the editing rather than having to switch over to something else. A chair. I've been looking for a chair because this thing, I'm sitting in it 24 hours a day. It is quite comfortable, but it does my back in after a while, and I don't want to end up like Phil where I need to go in and out of hospital every other day to get my back fixed in a few years' time. So I'm looking at chairs. I don't know much about them. I've been testing some out that are like the £100 to £200 mark, but they all seem pretty like the same as this one, really. So a chair maybe, and that's about it. And a camera. The camera is starting to get more noise as well when I'm using the black backgrounds. So those three things, the initial things that I'm looking at investing in for the channel. And then myself, I don't think there's much I actually need for Christmas. I don't really want stuff, to be honest, because when something comes out, like when this Blight War set came out, I picked this up, and I've got an agreement with Rachel almost. She says I can do whatever I need, basically. If I want any present for Christmas, then I can chuck it on a list or whatever. But her birthday is the week before Christmas as well. It's on the 18th of December. So she's got a birthday and then Christmas. So I kind of just go, what do you want for Christmas and your birthday, and we'll get everything that you want. And then throughout the year, if there's something that I need, I'll just pick it up, basically. So I don't put too much on Christmas. And I don't think... There was Call of Duty, which I've already picked up, but I don't seem to have time to play that at the moment. Anyway. There you go, George. That's my answer. What are you getting for Christmas, or what would you like for Christmas? And what is everybody else looking forward to for Christmas as well? Ralph Hummel, they're talking about the translation again. You know what? I could, instead of just sitting here looking at the screen, I could be doing stuff while I'm looking. But before that, actually, I'm going to show you my list. If anybody's interested in my Stormcast list for Age of Sigmar, let me know in the comments and I'll do that first. If not, I'm just going to crack on. So that was the initial intention of my comment under Sam's video. Okay. 1 second. Would love to see a Stormcast list. It's the NHS, so he's new. Oh, there we go. Yeah, how did Phil's op go? It went. I think the operation went well. I'm not sure whether I think it was injections and then some work on his spine. Oh, Jesus! I literally just picked up my green stuff and it's got my blade attached to it. That could have fallen off at any moment. That would have been dangerous. But I think he's had an infection since, so or they suspect it's an infection. So I don't know if it is an infection or something else, but he's been struggling with that. Let's see if I can even get this up on screen. So, let's see. Maybe not. Alright, you can see I've been playing around with all sorts of different lists. Procrastinating painter, stuck at work. It's a shame, but welcome. I think you're from, is it New Zealand or Australia? I was just surprised by the morning thing, as it's evening for me. So we've got my Fire Slayer lists, which I've done an Alpha Attack, Alpha Strike Magma list, which I want to try out, my Hearthguard list, and then if I end up going higher, where are we? So Stormcast, 1k list, and this is based on the models I've got available, not the ideal list. I think I could have made something different depending on what was available, but I've kind of gone with what I've got in the Blight War and what works really well. So this is 980 points. The General has to be a Lord Aquila if I'm taking Vanguard Hunters as my battle line, so that's what I've done. I haven't looked into all of the artifacts, command traits or steeds for the dude yet, but that's the General. But 2 Vanguard Hunters as the battle line, just base. And then I've got 2 Palador units for speed, and then an Aetherwing unit to capture objectives. And the idea, that's all there is in the list. So it's very, very fast-moving units. The Vanguard Hunters can jump around the table very quickly, and these have got abilities to go all over the place as well. So that list is pretty much to pick out individual units that I want to target and capture objectives. It's a very objective-based list. Stewie, chill. He's such a loud rabbit. Then my other list was, which one was this? Oh, this was as much shooting as I could possibly get. What's the question? I would love, give him our best. Yeah, we'll do, George. He'll probably be watching later anyway, so you can all wish him as well, best as well. Checked himself out of hospital too soon, as he always does. Tell him to rest, and I said this to him. They tell him to rest and stay like in bed and stuff, and he can't sit still, so he just gets out of bed and does stuff even though he's not supposed to, which delays being healed, which is not good. Ralph, is the painting app from GW for list building? No, this is the Azir app. So this is, hold on, I've got so many messages. So next to MyFitnessPal, because that's what you need to lose weight. It's amazing. You've got WH, so it's Warhammer AOS app. And then inside here, you've got Azir. And that's it. And then it's got your list building, but it's also got the war. I did a video on this as well, showing the app, because I thought it was pretty good. But this shows all the war scrolls as well. So you've got the rules, and then you've got the list building. But you do have to pay, I think, £1 a month. For the £1 a month that it costs, it's well worth it. I have to say. There's not many things less than the price of a Wargamer Online premium membership, but the Azir Army Builder is definitely one of them. People visiting hospital and not using the hand gel that's available. Yeah, that's definitely what spreads infection. I don't have any Aether Wings. The Aether Wings are really good. Their rules are generally for defending the shooty units. What are they called? So they've got a rule. Any friendly unit of Aether Wings within 12 inches of a friendly Vanguard Raptors can immediately move whenever in the opponent's charge phase. Basically, they get to move, so they can move into combat and they can also move away from combat. That's pretty much their main use. That's their ability. But I'm just looking at it, the fact that they're a 60-point unit, that it's got 12 movement, they've got 2 wounds each, it's a unit of 3, so it's not a huge tarp. It's not going to tarp it anything, but 6 wounds. They can, there's not as much shooting in Age of Sigmar as there is in 40k, so they should be able to get around the table really and do a bit of objective capturing. They can retreat and charge in the same turn, so if for whatever reason they don't get killed in a combat phase, they can retreat and go away and charge back in if they want. So the Ether Wings are good. And it was, I had 80 points remaining and I didn't really have much else in here to do 80 points worth. So this is the shooting list, and I've got a Lord Castellan as my leader. Again, not chosen Mystic Lights or the command traits, or the prayers that they get as well. I've got 2 Judicator units, 5-man units for the battle line. That's the minimum that you're allowed. And then I've got 2 Gryph-hound units. And the reason I've done 2 Gryph-hound rather than 1 unit of 5 or 1 unit of 6 is because each unit gets a Gryph-hound alpha for free, and the alpha is a better model. So rather than doing, the only downside is it's another unit to put down on the table, so your opponent could potentially go first. But between a 5 or a 6-man unit of Gryph-hounds or 2 3s, definitely makes sense to go with the 2 3 units. And they're really good. They get double the amount of attacks, I believe, if they're within range of the Castellan. So they're just going to be with him, guarding him, charge into combat, and they should mow through some stuff. And then I've got 2 Vanguard Raptor units as well. The long strike crossbows on paper look a lot better for me, but I've got 1 unit of each. So I think these will potentially do the most amount of damage. They've got 1 shot, I believe, or 2 shots, but it does a lot more damage and has more rend. Whereas these ones, the Hurricane crossbows, have got more shots. So that's the proper sit back and shoot list. And then the final one for 1,000 is a normal ranged. So I've titled it ranged, but the idea is that this prime model that I'm working on will come on the table turn 2 or 3, sometimes maybe even turn 1. The Judicators are there just to defend, basically. I wanted to stay back and shoot to give the prime time to come down. And then I've got, again, 2 more shooting units there. So it's the Raptor units again. And that's 1,000 points dead on. But the only difference between this and the other list is literally instead of having the what's it called? The other HQ and the Gryph-hounds, I've got Prime. And that's just to switch out to see which one's better. The Castellan or the Gryph-hounds. And I think it could be different on those. I've got 2 2,000 point lists. One of them, I've called it Prime Hammer. So that's the Prime, the Aquila, who will be the General again, and the Castellan. And I've got the 2 Vanguard Hunters. Because the Aquila is the General, these now count as battle line again. I've got 1 unit of Judicators just to, again, have a bit of shooting. So this is balanced between capturing and shooting. I've got the 2 Gryph-hound units again with the Ether Wings. I've got 2 units of Paladors, and I've got 1 unit of Shooting Raptors. So it's almost like a blend of the 1,000 point lists put together. And then my final one is Shoot and Score, and that is the Castellan, 3 units of Judicators. I need to get another 5 Judicators if I do this list, because I've only got 10 at the moment. 2 units of Ether Wings, 2 units of Gryph-hounds, the Steelheart Champions from Shadespire, Vanguard Hunters, and 2 units of Raptors. So there's a lot of, shooting. They've got shooting and movement. Steelheart's Champions are just because they're 100 points and they look cool, so they're going in there. Gryph-hounds have got a bit of speed again, and they're cool anyway. Ether Wings are going to capture objectives. Judicators will do all the shooting, and Prime will come down wherever he needs to go. That is my list so far out of what I've got model-wise. So, yeah, I'm quite chuffed with that. And I've got at least a goal to go forwards in terms of building. Right, let's get some green stuff in done. And mix this up. Patrick's literally just joined back in as I've finished talking about army lists. And I know he loves Age of Sigmar, so that's a shame. Rumours are GW is still working on the 40k app. Yeah, I think it won't. I don't think it'll be that long. Did I just see a Boltstorm pistol in your list? Yeah, the Vanguard, whatever they're called. Why is this going all weird? The Vanguard dudes have got bolt pistols, or Boltstorm pistols. But yeah. Be sensible, Phil, and go rest. Yeah, exactly. That's what we all need to tell him. Oh, the app's going to be free, is it? Okay, that's interesting. Because all of the rules, obviously, you need to buy the index or the codex at the moment, whereas the Sigmar rules are all free on the website. And the ones that aren't free, you have to pay for them. So maybe the app will be free, but you have to pay for the books still on the app, which would be annoying if they do that, because obviously you've got to... On the Age of Sigmar app, if you don't buy the book as a digital version, you don't get access to all of the stuff on the app, which is a bit frustrating if you bought the physical copy instead. They should give you like a little voucher that you can use to link to your account. I suppose that would be the way around it. Simon, I posted what I'm modelling on the Facebook page. Fun. I'll have a check out of that. Oh, Frank's here. Welcome, Frank. On topic, what was your first major conversion you ever did, and do you still have it? I definitely don't have it. I don't know about first major. I can't even remember what it would be. It would probably be for my fantasy army, my Warriors of Chaos. I did a lot of conversions in that army, probably with Archaon on the horse, Dorgar, whatever its name is. I converted that, but I've got no pictures. There's so many models. When Portent.net used to be a forum, it's now Warseer, but when Portent was on there, I had a very active account. I used to post so many different blogs and stuff, or like so many different updates. Ooh, not that microphone. And yeah, I used to do a lot of conversions and just post them up on there. I think that's why the forum's going to be good when it's available, because it means you can do your own little project log and you can keep it updated. So you don't, on Facebook it's good because you can post up stuff and get replies from people, but if you're not on for a week or a few days or a month, you'll miss stuff, and you don't have your own personal place other than your own page to share your hobby. So the forum's quite good because you can keep on top of your own project log. Like if I do Stormcast now, and then 6 months down the line, I can update my own little thread and show the progress of it, and you can just keep yourself updated with whichever page you want. Right. Nice strategy on the Griffhounds. Yeah, we'll see if it works, Carl. We'll see. So if you target any news on the mini wargaming Warhammer World Battle, they messaged Phil back. They said that Warhammer Games Workshop wanted to do a battle report instead. So they got Chris Peach, and I think Duncan. No, it's gone. Chris Peach and Duncan, and they played against them instead. But they did. Matt did message Phil afterwards and say, sorry we couldn't have a game. We're just doing this instead. That's it. So unfortunately not. Back till the next wilderness between Munster and Osnabrück. Got really cool sounding places in Germany. Did I just see? Yeah, I've read that one. Absolutely love the 2K shoot and score list. I hadn't decided if I was going to use my Steel Hearts champions in a game. I mean, for 100 points, they've got pretty good stats. When you're looking at the majority of the Stormcast models, there isn't a whole lot of high damage units. In the dragon side of things, and the paladins are pretty good, but overall everything's 1 damage, and the Steel Hearts champions have got some nice damage mix in there, and it's only 100 points for the unit. And the female, I forgot her name, Bright Shield I think one of her titles is, but she's got an ability where I think it's re-rolling fails to save of 1, and if you've been charged in a turn you get +1 to your save. So they've got a 3-up save re-rolling ones. I think it must be like that. It's pretty good anyway. And they're already got, they've got a decent amount of wounds. They've got a good variation of attacks in there. And if nothing else, it'll just be a distraction. If you charge that unit forwards against the enemy, they can't afford to leave them there because it can deal with all sorts of stuff. Thanks for sharing those lists. No problem, Carl. And I can do more on list building. I was thinking while I sat for like, I don't know, it must have been about half an hour, but I was lying in bed. When I lie in bed and I'm trying to fall asleep, I just look at army lists and move things around on the Azir app and see what works and then decide what I'm going to do from there. I haven't set my camera up properly. You can't really see what I'm doing. You can see in between. Kitetsu's here. Welcome, Kitetsu. And Coleman saying well done on the channel. Yeah, if you've not already checked out Kitetsu's channel, he is part of the Wargamer Online Hub. We've got to update that with more videos from all of the Hub members. But yeah, he's done some good videos on a range of different stuff to do with wargaming and generally the Age of Sigmar world. But I think he's delving a little bit into Shadespire and maybe some other areas. Sebastian Fernandez Serrano, that's a cool name. Buenos Nachos. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to Google Translate. Let's do this. Let us do this. I should have Translate up as like a standard link on my thing. Good evening, everybody. There we go. So, good evening, Sebastian. Does that mean you have an AOS Lore Part 3 done? Yes, tell us, Kitetsu. Those videos are really good. I like listening to lore videos. I like listening more than reading, so they're quite handy. And although I did read the original Age of Sigmar lore, it does take a lot of time to put them into a lore video. You know, you've got to check your facts, you've got to make sure you've got your timeline right, and then you put them out, and somebody will always be a little bit upset with something you do for whatever reason, so you've got to double check and triple check. They just require a lot of work to do those videos. That lore video, don't want to drop the quality. Yeah, exactly. That's something to make sure you maintain. But I don't think there'll be any issue with your quality. That's why we've asked you to join the hub, which you are a part of. So what else is going on at the moment then? I was speaking to Rory before I came on actually, because he just recently won the Shadespire tournament, the first one that was done, and he does the community writing and stuff. I was just asking him a little bit about Shadespire, and he was suggesting to start. He was saying basically the Khorne are not as powerful against Stormcast in that box, and I did read some of the rules. The cleave ability that I think a lot of the Khorne have got ignore the save roll of a shield. So if you're, the way it works is you have to get more successful rolls than the opponent does when you're attacking and defending in order to do stuff. And the Khorne have got an ability that basically negate the save of one of the Stormcast's symbols. So I thought that would be quite good, but apparently they're not as well matched up against each other. They tend to do that anyway. They tend to do good versus evil, and then good's always slightly better off. Although they are changing recently. And he suggested, because I've picked up the other two expansions, so I've got the Undead and the Greenskins, and he was saying that the Undead are really good, but they require a little bit more knowledge of the game first, and said to go with the Greenskins. So Rachel will be using the Stormcast models from Shadespire, and I'll be using the Greenskins. And I think you don't even need the miniatures to actually play the game. So to start with, I think we're just going to play it like a card game and use bases with the names of the characters just to figure out how the game works. And it gives me time then to work on the models and do a good job on them rather than rushing them just to start using them. What tool is that, Sam? These are just really cheap rubber clay shapers. And these ones with the white ends are quite cheap. They're not very good, to be honest with you. These were probably about £2 for about 4 or 5 different ones. These ones with the black ends, these have actually got writing on the side of them. So this is Royal Sovereign Limited, UK, clay shaper, whatever. And these ones are my favourite. And the main thing with sculpting, I'm not obviously an expert, but the ones that I use quite often is this one, which has got a complete point. It's almost like a pencil or like a normal sort of end to a pen. And they've got names. Okay, so this one is called a taper point. So that one's really good. Write this down. We've got a flat chisel, which I really like. And they've even got the size on them, look, 0. The flat chisel is really good, because if you were wanting to... And the other thing is using Vaseline or green stuff. We've been sent this sculptor Vaseline from Green Stuff World, which I think is just another version of Vaseline, but I love this stuff because the green stuff doesn't stick to your tools. So you can properly use this flat chisel and just kind of very lightly press in on the green stuff, and you don't get any fingerprints or marks. You can do some nice detailing on these. And all I'm doing at the minute is blocking in some of these gaps with green stuff, and then I'll go back in once it's dried and add another layer of green stuff and put some detail onto it. For now, though, it's just a matter of putting the green stuff in the right place and making sure if there's a gap that's on there. Oh god, I really can't do sculpting live. It's rather difficult. Question for everyone from Ralph: play painted or unpainted? I only play painted. However, if the model isn't even built and I'm using a base, proxy style like Rachel enjoys, I think I could probably bypass the rule. The reason I don't mind proxying for Shadespire is because it doesn't have any relevance in the game whatsoever. It doesn't matter how big the model is. You don't need line of sight. Everything's done by the tile that you're on and the squares that you move on to, and it's a card game that you could use anything for. So it's pretty much chess, but obviously with a different rule set and a lot more stuff that can go off on it. And a deck of cards. It's not like chess, but the way that the board works, it's like chess kind of. Defo 70% painted at the least. I mean, it's completely up to the individual in it. I've always said this, like some people don't like painting. Doesn't matter, like just do your hobby. At the end of the day, I don't care whether stuff's painted or not painted. For the channel, we don't do stuff that's unpainted, just because visually it doesn't look as good, and we just, that's something we've said we're not going to do. However, if I go to the club and I play a game against somebody, I could not care less whether the opponent's army is painted or not. That's still not going to stop me from painting my own stuff, however. And just do what makes you happy and don't really care otherwise. If you go to tournaments where they say you have to have painted stuff, then that's fair enough. Like, it's up to the event organisers to decide whatever they want to do, but except for that, I really don't think it makes a difference. We went to the new Banbury store local to us. So I've never been to Banbury before, because Leamington's always been 5 minutes away. And Banbury's just got a new store manager, so me and Dave went over there on Thursday just to check it out, and the manager's really cool actually. So if you're in the area, it might be worth just popping into that store and saying hello and introducing yourself maybe. I know this goes out to the world, so there's probably not a huge amount in the Banbury area, but it might be worth just having a look. But Michael is the new manager there, and he doesn't paint. He only played his first game of 40k on that Thursday, and he's built a Stomper, and he's not got. I don't think he's got any intention of painting it. He's just built it to use for learning the game and stuff, and that's fair enough. Like, if you're not interested in painting, you're not interested in painting. As a store manager, it probably helps to know how to paint and to do it a little bit, so you can actually advise people. But I think that comes with time. Mark Halverson. Cheers from California. Lunch break serendipity. I almost never view live. Well, there you go, Mark. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you're having a fantastic lunch. Rachel made an absolutely beautiful curry this evening. I normally do the cooking, but she does proper cooking. I do things that basically anything that goes into a pan, I'll do. But anything made from proper scratch, she does, and she does a really good job of. Ralph, Patrick. Depends what you look for. In general, I prefer to play against painted armies as it's a better quality game. But as a slow painter, I'm fine to play against an unpainted one. Yep, it is always better. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that playing against a painted army, a converted army, something that you can tell a lot of love and care and effort has gone into, that's always going to be better than playing against a grey army. And it should be. I mean, the time where you play against somebody and it's more fun and you're just playing against bare plastic, I think it's probably, probably a bad thing. It helps to know a bit of everything. Yeah, Frank, it definitely does. And I think, have you got your own shop? I think you've got your own shop. The other thing is, if you're doing a shop that isn't just GW, it becomes a lot more difficult because you've got so many different ranges to keep ahead of. With GW, at least, you just look at GW's got a lot of stuff anyway, so there's a lot to do. But when you chuck in all of the independent stuff and all of the other games, you've suddenly got a whole lot of stuff to learn. Polos, Coventry has just got a new store, or rather it's moved and reopened. Yeah, Dave who runs Coventry store is a really nice guy as well. And I wish Coventry was a little bit closer, to be honest. Like, it's the same thing. I've been to Coventry twice in the 6 years I've lived here. Just twice. And that's because everything I need is in Leamington. So really don't need to go anywhere else, but it's a shame because Dave is a really good quality Games Workshop manager and he's been around for a long time, so he knows everything. He gets on with everybody, and it's just really good. I mean, you get those stores, don't you? You either have a good store with a manager that's switched on and is dedicated to the hobby, or you have a store that is just a store manager which is just a job for them. And to be fair to GW, the majority of managers that they hire, they're in it for the love of the hobby rather than just for a job. So it's very rare that you find a store which is a bad store. But obviously when you hear about a bad store, everybody knows about it because that's all they talk about. But I don't think much is said about all of the good stores that are out there, which is a shame. But Dave, his old store in Coventry, he was putting up the pictures on Facebook. And it really does look like something out of the 70s or 80s. It's been there since the dawning of, the dawn of time, really, since Games Workshop opened. Really haven't done much sculpting, have I? Filled one little gap, jeez. Did you go in your WGO minivan with your WGO hoodies? Show Banbury who's the boss in these parts. No, to be honest, we didn't. We wear our hoodies and stuff. We've got, you know what we have got? I can't actually show them off completely because there's a little voucher code on here, but we've got these little cards made. Look at this, wargameronline.com. Painting tutorials, battle reports, product reviews, chats and discussions, and then on the back, premium member discount. So these are for things that we're giving out for doing whatever, like competition, if we do like competitions and stuff. Also the, asset drop that I did recently, I did a review on. Andy's pop in a few of these cards into his boxes that he's giving out. So as well as getting the bargain, paint boxes every month and getting to try out different stuff from them, you get a discount on the Wargamer Online premium membership as well. So we've got those cards printed. But we could potentially hand those out to people when we meet them out and about. So when we go to events and things, if you come and see us, you can get that sort of thing, which is good. Ralph Hummel, how are you going to paint the cloak with those wings in the way? I am building my prosecutors right now and keep the wings as a sub-assembly separate. I never build models separate. The only time I've done it is on Corax when I was building it for a friend and he wanted it in sub-assemblies and magnetized. But for my own models, I just get around it by anything I can't actually get to. So with this model, I'll start by painting the cloak. Oh, excuse me, that curry. So I'll start by painting the cloak. And that's because it's the hardest to reach area. So if I get my brush into the back of there and I get paint onto the armour and I get paint onto the wings, it doesn't matter. So I'll paint all of the base colours on that cloak. Once that's done, I'll probably start highlighting the bits that I can't reach very easily as well. So I'll do that. And then I'll go to the next hardest to reach area. So that would probably be the back of the armour. I don't know if you can see it there, but I can get the cape and then I'll work on the back of her armour. And I'll paint that bit, and then I've got all of the armour that I can do across the whole model. And then I'll look at what the next area is that is going to be difficult to get to, which would be the wings. So I'll start painting the wings behind there, and I'll get them done. And then after that's been done, all the base colours and the highlights, whichever order I think is going to be best, I'll start picking out the easy stuff. So it'll be like the fur and things that's on here, and the inscription that will be on the axe. And then the face will probably be one of the last things, and these tabard bits. So whenever I look at a model, I look at what's difficult to paint, and I'll start with that, and then I'll make it easy on myself afterwards. And that's just the way I work, and I can understand why people do things in sub-assemblies. But it's just, for me, it slows down the process. And because I work by looking at a model and working it out, I spend more time working out what I'm going to do then it probably work out the same sort of speed actually if I just sub-assembled it and painted it. But then I feel like I waste a lot of time painting every bit that I might not need to do. And when it comes to conversions, it's very difficult to do conversions and keep them in sub-assemblies. So it's just easier just to go with it. Frank Storm, so yeah, you've got a shop in Queens, New York. See, if I was local to New York, Frank, I would definitely be at your store. However, there's a bit of a gap between yourself and myself. Patrick, that is what all people tell you. All painted roll better, yeah. But today I rolled in my last match, so horrible. Well, Patrick is coming down in December to the studio to play a game, hopefully against myself. It is Rachel's birthday on that. I think it's the Monday actually, but she normally has a weekend birthday bash where we go and do stuff. But I think Patrick's down on that weekend, and we're definitely going to make some time to play some games. So hopefully Patrick can kick my butt at Age of Sigmar. I'm not going to have at least. No, I'd like to say I could get my Fire Slayers built and painted by them, but it's probably not going to happen. So I think it will be my Iron Jaws. And then obviously if Rachel's around and Patrick wants to play against Rachel, they could have a game, and also Phil. So it should be a good weekend. Carlos, I think slow grow events with painting targets help to get minis painted. They do. And we'll do another. What did we do last time? WGO Chronicles, we did it for 40k when people wanted to start new armies for 8th edition. They did them and linked them all to the Facebook group, and that made a whole host of awesome community stuff. Loads of people got armies done for 8th edition, and it was amazing to see. And we're definitely going to do that again, but we'll start it with Age of Sigmar. And I've said we're going to do it in the new year. I said January, February, so whichever army I don't do before then. So it looks like I'm starting with Stormcast. So I'll probably do the 1,000-point Fire Slayer list in that. So I think I've said January. And that will run for maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and it will give everybody a chance to build a 1,000-point Age of Sigmar army. Right. Derpimus, do you have any advice for cases, foam trays for tank storage, transport? My foot sluggers are sorted, but all I've got for tanks is an old toolbox that will take three tops. The old boys have said don't get Sam started on KR cases. KR, I mean, I don't know if they just don't watch our videos. They probably don't, but I should really have a sponsorship deal with KR where they just send me all of these KR cases that I need rather than making me pay for them all because of the amount of product plugging I do for them. But KR cases are amazing. I've got every single one of them that I've ever bought has been brilliant. I only buy the card cases because they're fairly cheap. If you're going to be going to events and things like that, you can buy a big aluminium case. Too late, here we go. It's too late, mother. You can buy a big aluminium case that you can put the card boxes into, but they've been out of stock for ages because they've got a £200 one that holds 4 normal KR case to standard KR cases, and that is what I've been after. And there was one at the event at Salute, and they said you can have it for 200 quid, and I didn't have 200 quid, so I was gutted because I've not been able to get one since. But just buy the cheaper card cases, and then if you need like a backpack or aluminium case to put them in afterwards, do it that way instead. But it is a bit difficult to work out what you need. For my Fire Slayers, the case that I bought, I think will fit 1,000 points in, which will be 2 Magma Joths, 20 Volkite Berserkers, and a bunch of characters. And that should fit in a standard case. Alright. I'm done talking about KR. I apologise. I always do. Do you know what's better than, well, not better than KR cases, but Shadespire has obviously been released, and it's almost got the same satisfaction as KR cases. So I took all the cards out of the packs that they came in, got my sleeves, put all the little cards into sleeves, and then put them into a folder as well. Oh my god, it's just as good as putting figures into a KR case. So that's my new fix. And now I can do it and not feel bad because it's Magic. It's actually Warhammer, so nobody can shout at me. Yeah, I think that gap's fairly filled. The old store was the second incarnation. It was originally on the opposite side of the city centre back in the 90s. I used to go there regularly to get orcs for Warhammer. But if you're nearby, Paulus, we'll have to have a game at some point if you're up for that. Because we're in Leamington Spa, so if you're from the Coventry area, it's only round the corner. And even if we don't film games and stuff, we can definitely play games at the studio. Quick post fast and bump the question off the top. Yeah, give me another question to stop KR questions. This is what I mean, like, everybody knows my love for them. Maybe I should start a case company. That'd be good. If you're ever in New York, stop by. If I ever come to New York, if I ever come to America, because I've never been, and everybody who goes says it's amazing. If I ever go to America, I'll draw a list up of as many people as possible and just come and see you all. Sam, I would love to maybe call in and see you guys in the new year, maybe. Definitely, Marty. You've got me on Facebook. Literally, send me a message whenever you know you're going to be in the area. I'll if I've got something booked, I'll let you know. But generally, I can meet up for games or go for a meal, go to town and have a bit of a. I don't drink. I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh my god, you don't drink," but I don't really drink alcohol. But we could definitely go for a drink and a bit of grub. Cooks, Arts and Crafts. There you go. So that's, if you're in the New York area, check out that. Patrick's just messaged me about Rachel's birthday. There we go. I haven't got my headphones on, but I did see Bren Cunningham. Thank you for subscribing. Coleman Dwarves at last. Yeah, Fire Slayers will be the first dwarf army in Age of Sigmar that I'll be starting. And I'm wondering whether Phil's going to start his Caradon Overlords before I start the Fire Slayers. We'll see. You're about 2.5 hours from me, but if we're ever up that way, we'll definitely step in. That's from Carl. The thing is, I'm always amazed. Because in the UK, everything's really close, like 3 to 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours. I think George was saying he's 5 hours away from Warhammer World, but you can get to most places from the Midlands. You can get to like pretty much anywhere in the country within that 4 or 5 hour period. But in America, you've got like states that are bigger than the UK. Most states are probably bigger than the UK. Mind-boggling. Marty doesn't drink either. Okay, so we can go for like a Coke and some food. Or we could just keep playing games. I don't mind. Paula, I'm in rugby, so not far away. We'll take you on bolt action with the Black Death. You're going to have to forgive my ignorance, but what is the Black Death? What does that stand for in World War II? I haven't heard any Black Death as far as World War II goes on. But I have done all of my German armour, which I'm pretty pleased with, and the model holders have now arrived, so I can actually start cracking on with the German infantry. So I'm definitely up for that whenever you want to play a game of bolt action, and I have an army to play, we can definitely play that. And Dave has taken over the Americans. He's got the US. He's looked into the colour scheme. He needs to start painting them. Okay, what are we on? 9 o'clock. I said I was going to run for an hour, so I think, although I haven't got much else done, if there aren't any more questions, I'll probably head off in a few minutes. Russian Naval Brigade. Okay, never heard of that then, I'll have to look into it. But I'll definitely play against it. So content-wise, I'm going to try and get this tutorial out for premium tomorrow. I don't know, with Phil's back, I don't know how long it's going to be for the next Age of Sigmar Battle Report, or when I can get one filmed and edited in time. But I'll try that out. How far away from GW headquarters are you? We're an hour and a half, I'd say. And that's like probably maximum an hour and a half. Might fly into the UK next year to see my editor at Black Library sometime in the spring. Maybe we could arrange a meet. I mean, Ralph, let us know when you go in there, and if we can drive down and meet you at Warhammer World, we'll do that. Because we're not that far away, and if you've been travelling from France all the way to Nottingham, we'll try and make it to you rather than you making it to us. Unless you wanted to come to the studio, it's completely up to you. But let us know, and we'll do what we can. So we still haven't come up with a name for this. So if you're on watching this back, or when the video goes through, if you're watching this now, because I'm not going to read all of the names, but we need a name for the Celestant Prime. So it was supposed to be Celestant Feminine, because that's all I came up with, and it's a female. But I think we could get a pretty cool name, and I like Celestant Valkyrie and Celestant Lass. And I think there was another one as well, but those two so far. If we've got any more, pop it in the comments after this goes through, and I'll pick my favourite. Off to carry on painting the Sepulchral Guard. I've got those over there to do actually, but they won't be done for a while with all the other priorities. So we filled one leg. I mean, that was productive to say the very least. But yeah, we've had an alright evening, haven't we? Oh, Al's just joining us, right? I said to Phil, shall we do 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock? And we asked people 8 o'clock or 9, and everyone said 8 because it was easy to get on. But Phil's is on a 9 o'clock still on a Monday. So Madame Butterfly. That's a good name actually. I do like how it's looking like butterfly wings, and I'm going to paint these up as butterfly spots. You know, you can on butterflies they've got like patterns and things. I'm going to paint these up the same way and have like some patterns down here. I'm just going to look for butterflies and see which one works well, and I'm going to paint these wings up in that way. Probably take it round to Phil's and use the airbrush and blast some nice spots of colours on here and make it blend really cool. Celestant, Tracy or Sharon. Right, so it's been a good one. It's been a good Saturday evening. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Thank you all for joining me as always. These Saturdays are something I'm trying to do as often as possible, especially for all of the Americans and the people from different countries that can't necessarily make 8 o'clock on a weeknight, on a school night. Might have to start a new 40k army. Do it, Marty. The dove from above. And now Valrak's in as well. Literally, everybody turns up at 9. Yes, Butterfly Wings Valrak. I hope you've been purging in Imperial Fist fashion. So yeah, we'll call it. Monday will be Monday Musing. We will have Rachel Stein. Yeah, we call her Rachel Stein. And we'll see if we can get a Wednesday show going. Monarch. Done. I like that, Blood Company. I like that name. Right, before we carry on chatting for another hour, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you to, I can't remember who subscribed now, but thank you for subscribing during the show. And I'll see you in the weekday, hopefully. So, have a good one. And I'll try and find the credits. See you later.